future IBers. This is Mia.
Oh, hi.
I'm Anna.
And we're providing some tips to help you get through the CAS project and a tough IB process.
We wanted to share with you some of the things we noticed that were good with our CAS project and that weren't as good and made us not be able to have the final product of our CAS project, so you can succeed in the future.
Things to do. Plan ahead, for sure.
Definitely plan ahead. We found that we did plan ahead a lot of the time, and it was very helpful because we knew when things weren't going to work out and when things were going to work out. But with that said, even when you do plan ahead, you can have a completely full plan, and it might not work out because for instance, if you're working with an outside source, maybe they'll bail on you. So I think that going along with that is plan ahead, but also be very specific in who you pick to work with if you're doing service or creativity or action outside of campus, because then you have to rely on another community partner at the same time.
And to add on what Anna said, when you plan ahead, for example, if one school doesn't work, you have time to work it out with another school. While if you waited till the last minute and one school didn't work, then you're out of time and you're in a tough predicament. So that's why we also said plan ahead.
Yeah, Mia and I started planning our CAS project about a year before, and we wanted to do a field day, and we realized field day is not going to work, so we changed it up. We were going to do a basketball clinic with an outside school, and that didn't work, so we got to change it again to another basketball clinic with another school, and unfortunately that didn't work at the end, but we did have time to kind of switch and change our plans.
We had 3 opportunities to make it work.
And they all then ended up not working because of the outside partnership we were working with.
Okay, yeah, that's another 2. Be persistent in your communication and proactive, and keep it going so they don't lose contact and think it's okay to just stop communicating with you.
You definitely need to show commitment and perseverance throughout the entire thing, because even though if you get to the last second and you have the final product, if you didn't show commitment and perseverance throughout that entire time, the IB might not like that, because they're really looking for you to show that commitment and perseverance through challenges, which me and I faced a lot. We faced 3, like she said, we had 3 different opportunities, so we had each one of those had a different challenge or multiple challenges that went along with it. And so that was, we got over those bumps, but it was still difficult. And
on top of that, even if it didn't work, you still gain new skills. For us, it was communicating with outside partnerships and just understanding real world collaboration type things. So
we sent a lot of emails. We talked to people on the phone. I definitely think talking on the phone helped because it got somewhere quicker than sending emails back and forth because you have to wait. So if you are working with an outside source, I suggest maybe email to kind of set it up, but then say, hey, let's talk on the phone and get all the dates sorted out, everything, so you can go quicker and get the planning stages done so you can get to the final product sooner as well.
Yes, agreed.
Let's think. What else was good and bad in our CAS?
Can we say a flaw?
Yeah, definitely.
Was what you just said, just emailing constantly instead of picking up the phone more often, so it's more direct communication.
And miscommunication can definitely happen as well on
that's true.
Emails. And sometimes the sources, the outside places that you might be working with, they're busy too. They're just not at school all day. They have jobs, so it's also difficult for them to email you back right away if they have kind of a busy position at their school or wherever they're working. So I definitely think calling is the better.
I think also in terms of communication, for us, we went through someone else to go through someone else to go through someone else versus just going to them directly and that slow down the process. So I think you should do the communication, if anything, if you have the opportunity to. You take the initiative and email them or call them, not have someone else do it for someone else. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think that a lot of people think CAS needs to be, your CAS projects need to be these kind of big, worked up deals. And the main goal of CAS, I personally feel isn't what you have at the final product, it's the lead up to it. So you could have the simplest CAS project, but how much effort you put into that CAS project, how much time and commitment you worked with other people or worked with yourselves, I think that shows a lot more than if you have kind of this big product, but you did it in one day. Because that's not what CAS is. So definitely think about that when you're choosing your CAS projects, or during your CAS projects, you need to definitely.
Also, another thing, I think you have to like choose your partner wisely. Like me and Annabelle, me and Anna went well together because she'll come to me and be like, Mia, we have to do this, and I'll be like, all right, Anna, we have to do this. But other partners, when someone said that, they'll catch an attitude, and that's not a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
So pick your partner wisely.
Yeah.
Because this wouldn't have been enjoyable if it was someone I did enjoy, talking to and collaborating with.
Mm-hmm. So with partners, I definitely think that you should pick someone wisely, because me and I, we might not be like the bestest of friends, but we're friends, so we can go to each other and still communicate and feel okay. And if she did something wrong or I did something wrong or there was a lack of communication, we never like completely ignored it. We definitely came, she knows that I kind of sent more of the emails because I was the one that was sending them, but that didn't mean that she didn't do anything either. She put things together too. So you just kind of have to work and balance it out, but never get like angry with your partner, because this is a long time thing. And if you get angry with your partner, it would just make things tense and awkward, and I think it definitely could affect the final product. You just have to stay positive and communicate again with your partner, so you're both on the same page and both know what you're doing.
You have to understand it's not going to work out the first time. Like some people get lucky, like another group got lucky.
CAS is supposed to have challenges in it.
So you have to work through them.
Don't get angry with each other, because you two are the ones going over the bumps and the
Hurdles
roadblocks together. Okay, and another thing that we think that you should have is a fact. So you have to have a CAS advisor. So as our CAS project has kind of changed, our advisors kind of changed as well. I definitely think that's an important part, though, because our CAS advisor wasn't really we didn't make them a main, I guess you could say, person in our CAS project. So I think that you should definitely choose your advisor wisely so that they're there to help you. And I know that I've seen it with other groups. Some of them didn't have transportation to their days where they would go off campus and work with another organization. And that is what your CAS advisor could be there for too. So if you have a person that you can rely on, a teacher or faculty member, I think that would be very helpful, because they can kind of lead you in the right direction. If they've been here for more than a year, they've seen kind of how the IB works and how CAS works, so they can definitely help you and push you along on the right track. But you definitely need to have, you cannot do a CAS project by yourself. You need to have some assistance from a faculty member, Miss Track with service, Miss Callahan with action. You need Miss Ireland with creativity. You need someone there kind of advising you and helping you. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Like me and I, we've had many meetings with all of those people.
Just to spark ideas.
And they told us, hey, we don't think this is going to work, or hey, we think this is going to work. And that was really helpful to hear those tips too. So even though like maybe we never felt like we failed, because we still overcame almost every challenge. It came down to the point though that we didn't have any last options.
It's just time ran out.
And that wasn't our fault. It was kind of the other people's fault. Not fault, but they got busy too. If you're relying on someone else, they have lives as well. So I think that you definitely need to be honest and be open with the advisors. Miss Ireland, she's there to help you. Miss Track, she's there to help you. They want to see you succeed more than anything. So definitely feel free to go and ask them questions.
And also just to add on, Miss Track really, she works with like health and wellness or that type of section. So she has a lot of contacts with schools. So if you want to go to anybody for schools, that's the person to go to. Just
or Miss Sal for different schools too. I definitely I wouldn't try and find a school on your own. School doesn't, St. Tim's doesn't already have a contact with, because it can become
makes
challenging.
It more complicated. Yes.
But I mean, it's not saying that you can't, but I just think that it would be easier on you and the other organization or school if there's already a contact and like implanted.
Anything else?
So now we're gonna have you talk to some other girls who finished their CAS projects and see what they thought worked or didn't work for them. Okay, so we have Asia here with us today. Can you just state who your partner was and what you did for your CAS project?
My partner was Annabelle, and what we did was we made a mosaic with trash that we collected in Patterson Park with the kids of the after-school program at the Patterson Park Middle Charter School, but the middle school and the charter school.
So what worked in terms of your communication with the other school? Like what went well?
Well, after hearing your story, I actually feel like we were really unorganized and we just got lucky, because I really do, because we called a school about a week before we wanted to start the project, and that was in maybe February of this year. And then we were with Chapin Hike, and we always wanted to work with school. We wanted to work with Living Classrooms, who was also in Patterson Park. So we wanted to work with kids, not with a school. But there was another group working with Living Classrooms, and they didn't want to have too many groups there. So we were like, okay, what's in Patterson Park? Then we looked up schools by Patterson Park, and we saw Patterson Park Charter School, like right by the park. So we called them, and we talked to them all about CAS and what our plan was, and they said, okay, sure. And then, so I think a good thing, maybe that they didn't do that, we did is starting off with that phone call, right, instead of that email.
Yeah.
Because also, that email takes a long time to get a response. You have to wait. But you start with that phone call, they already know, what's the idea. Like, they already spoke with you. They're already familiar with you. So then at the end of that phone call, we got her email. Then we emailed her basically everything we said on the phone call. And then she replied. Then we sent saying, like, yeah, she knows exactly what kids we can work with. And she told us all that. So then we sent her, like, a daily schedule of, like, what we wanted to do and when we wanted to start. And then actually, we had something similar to what they had. She just stopped replying at one point, and we were like, okay, we might have lost our school just now. It was a little scary. But then we emailed her again. So persistence also, don't be like too shy. Like, you need to get your project done. So you need to keep emailing, keep calling, because people, maybe they don't see it, or maybe they have more important emails. Like, the lady was the principal, so of course she'll have more important emails. And then, so we emailed her again, and then she said, like, oh, sorry, and then just got started. So yeah. I would just say be persistent and start off with a phone call.
Thank you, yeah.
Yes.
Hi, so we have Sierra with us as well today, and she's going to talk to us about what worked with her CAS project.
So, my CAS project was teaching other St. Tim students my STEP. And my partner was my brother, because he's an outside partner. And the reason why I chose him is because he is on the STEP team at his school. So it was direct access to the steps that I needed to teach these other St. Tim students these moves. And I would say the reason why it did work is because the elements I needed to make this successful was at my fingertips. I saw these students every day. So when I went to practice, I'd be like, Mia, we got practice at 3:15 in the step room, and she'll be there.
Yes.
Even if she's not there, I could go to her during my extra time and teach her what she missed. So when something didn't go right, I found other ways because they're on campus.
So you found it beneficial that you weren't working with an outside.
Yes. It was more convenient to get the job done.
Definitely.
So another key was direct communication. That's a common, thing. Direct communication.
And yours was creativity and action.
Yes.
And where did you perform?
So my final product, actually, part of my final product was performed at our BAC Black History Month performance. So I got all of the students who participated to perform this little piece that we learned.
And that was a St. Tim's event too.
Yes.
So
it was already planned. It was
I didn't even have to go out my way to find time to perform either, because it was already a planned event, and all the people had to be there anyway. So it wasn't like a burden for them to show up either.
See, that was really smart to kind of
very
put it
helpful.
into it. Do you want to show us a little bit of your step?